Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to see you. We had a bit of a mix-up, and I thought that uh, that Laura and Karen was speaking this morning, but there was a change of the time, and in the last minute, we didn't have a reflector this morning. Um, and I found this out over the weekend. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm doing a class for the China group on Tuesday morning. I'll do the same reflection for you guys, you people, on Monday. So this is what we're doing. So I am going to be talking about the mystery of the other. And we're going to sort of reflect on that as a kind of a direction. Let me put it dramatically. Dorothy's laughing at that. Really encountering the mystery of the other is a path towards saving the world. Let's see if you agree with that. In another reflection, I presented you with a Kohut quote, Kohut being the founder of self-psychology. And Kohut was talking about how humans are in danger because our response to otherness, to difference, is to mobilize our cruelty and win against the threatening other. And that the very nature of people who are different, and everybody is different, is disgust and aggression. And some of you really didn't like that quote. It's a horrible quote, right? But there is something that wakes me up about that quote. Like, wow, our species better get moving in this next step of evolution in which we can tolerate otherness and tolerate difference. And I think that we are in many ways. We are making a place for otherness and for difference. But we're going to take it instead of from, we better get going with this evolutionary step, instead of that tack, in focusing, we anticipate the forward movement, and we cultivate it by seeing where we're going, where we want to go, what's possible. And that's what we're going to be doing this morning. So instead of starting from a position of how we are fucking everything up on this planet, in this species, we're going to start from the position of how amazing it is to encounter the other. So I want you to go there with me this morning. Every person is an unfathomable mystery. including ourselves. And as I'm talking to you, you might be gazing at the screen, at the faces. And I would really appreciate it if those of you who don't have your cameras on would put your cameras on so that we could have your face, represented with all the faces. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Every face represents a world, and a world that we can't fully know. It's so complex. And then let's look at our own face on the screen. Each of us is a mystery to ourselves. We only know a little teeny bit of ourselves. And the little teeny bit that we know, it changes from moment to moment, because as Jane Genlin teaches us, we aren't entities, static things. We are interaction. And so as our interaction changes, we change. And we can't know all of these infinite webs of interaction that we're part of. And we're not only part of the interaction in our own town, in our country, in our part of the world, in our Zoom meetings, in our huge planet, but we're into interaction with generations. We all go back so far. Even our bodies. We think of our bodies as, I have a good body, a bad body, it's attractive here, and I have a good nose, but I have a big belly. We objectify our bodies, and we objectify other people's bodies and make them into things. But the body is this living mystery that goes way beyond our skin envelope and goes back and goes into the future. And we have the felt sense in our bodies of infinite realities. It's difficult for us to grasp how complex the other is, and the other of ourself is. And I think always we're trying to simplify. And of course, I'm trying to simplify and giving you this little reflection also, right? I'm simplifying this huge mystery. But we simplify, especially when we're anxious, especially in social political situations, but in all situations. We want to feel that we know ourselves, and we want to feel that we know the other. I'm thinking of parents who will say, I know my child. My child comes from the same genetic everything, and I've known this one since he or she was born. But then when you talk to the child and you say, oh, do your parents know you? No, my parents don't know me. My parents think I'm this way and this way. And also with partners, right? You think you know the other. You know them like a book. And then they surprise you. And it's like, oh my God, they're like that. Or they could surprise you in good ways. And you could say, they're like that. But encountering the otherness is being willing to be disoriented, to be confused a bit, to be surprised. It's the willingness to not know. And of course, in focusing, we try to make a place for not knowing, because it's that edge of not knowing where new things come. So in this attempt to simplify, we make everything into good or bad, right or wrong, attractive or unattractive, useful or not useful. I think of my mother. I have a story about my father also that I'll tell you, but I want to say first that my parents were very, I know they were very complex people, and the stories I tell about them were little teeny bits of them. But I might have even told you this story because I was so struck by it. I left my mother on the street corner while I went into a shop. And when I came out, I said, well, were you bored? And she said, oh, no, I wasn't bored waiting for you. I was fascinated by counting the obese people that went by. So all of these people in this town, she collapsed into those who were obese and those who were not obese. And she was counting them. And aren't we all like that in some kind of way? I was going to say especially, but I don't know if especially in terms of bodies. Each body is a mystery that scientists or ourselves or can never know. I think of Thich Nhat Hanh, who has a practice every morning taking a shower. He looks at his body and he thinks of his ancestors and thanks his ancestors for his body. I thought that was such a wonderful idea. I did it once, but I couldn't keep up the practice of it. So I see by the clock that I want to, let me just see if there's anything that I wanted to tell you in this introduction that I haven't told you. Well, to come back to the beginning of my shocking statement that to encounter otherness is a path towards saving the world. When we can stretch ourselves, and of course, we need the other, we need the difference, we need the mystery to stretch us in ways that we like and in ways that we don't like. But the liking and the not liking aren't the main thing. It's the main thing is seeing if we can encompass the mystery of the other. And that, of course, is the focusing attitude, right? To open ourselves to surprise, to open ourselves to curiosity rather than threat and then simplification. And that's a little turning place. You could go this way or this way, or maybe I'm making that a binary because we can go in all directions. But if we can cultivate the curiosity about difference and allow ourselves to settle into that edge of awareness where we just get an inkling of all the almost infinite stories that each of us are, including ourselves, and be in awe of it. Allow ourselves that kind of surprise. And of course, the surprise in ourselves when we do things that are very unpredictable or things that we don't approve of. To be surprised and then curious rather than threatened. So I'm going to invite you to look at some faces that I made this little video, and I think I may have shown it here many years ago. We've been here almost four years, so I might have shown this to you, but you probably won't remember the faces. But we're going to look at these faces, and then we're going to continue to look at the faces on the screen with the same kind of curiosity that we can more easily, we want to lift the light weight of, the 2-pound weight of strangers before we pick up the heavier weight of looking at ourselves here. What was that like to look at these faces?
The word that comes to me is endearing.
Hmm?
The music in the background, I think, was influencing a little bit my mood. There was a great
Yeah,
sadness
yeah.
with it. Mm.
Endearing, and there was some feeling of sadness.
Very moving.
Mm.
Yeah.
What, say it a little bit more about it being moving.
Journey through different faces and the humans, the animals, that feeling of some deep recognition with every face, human and animal.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Someone's in there looking out. Yeah.
yes. Jane said that the person is the one that looks out at you from behind their eyes.
Yeah.
I liked the old and the young contrast together. That was very moving to me.
Mm.
I also want to share that when I looking at faces, I'm noticing I'm smiling, and also something just like my heart is open more and more because I'm just like to see so many stories. Everyone he has his her stories. It is so amazing. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
My
yes,
heart is seems open more and more.
yes, yes, yes. Everybody has so many stories, and the stories of their ancestors that are manifest in them, and their time and their place. Yes.
This is Miri. Sorry, I'm not on camera.
Hi,
For
Mary.
me, hi. For me, um, it was soothing and relaxing. There was something about the experience of experiencing, like outside the realm of thought, is like just connecting with the life force
Mm.
in the other, my own life force, touching and like making contact with life force, something like that.
Yes, yes. I love your pointing that out because there was something I was feeling, but you put your finger on it, this life force that comes through in
Yeah,
places.
yeah. And it's revealed in the face. Yeah. Oh, I get the chills right now. Oh, thank you.
And when we look at each other on the screen, the life force in each face that sort of brings out our own life force. Like, oh yes, and I'm one of one of those also, those infinite mysteries. Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's this quality I'm experiencing as flickering, right, between the known and the mystery, right? When Elisa was talking about so many stories, right? It's like we there's certain stories we feel like we can see, we feel them when we see the faces, and yet there's also that sense of the ultimate mystery. And to me, that was really supported by having the humans and then the animals. And I got to really appreciate us humans more, right? Than I usually do. We're so much more complex than the animals we were looking at.
Well, I don't know. One of those animals was, a couple of them were my cats, and they're incredibly mysterious to me. I don't know more or less, but
That's my story, I guess.
yes, yes, yes.
Lynn, I'm not sure the procedure for talking. Am I?
Yes,
Oh,
the procedure is just speak.
okay, I've got my my mute off. Yeah. Well, that brought a real sense of my own kind of disconnect with people and how I feel I am, and there's all the judgments and the boxes that everyone's in, and so it brought a deep sadness. Yeah, and also, but yet also a lesson of how to take that forward. Yeah, just to add, just look in their eyes and remember.
Yes, looking in someone's eyes is an amazing.
Yeah, to do that deliberately. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Psychotherapist, I often will start a session and the client may not even be aware of it, but I look in the face of the other as I'm starting the session. Just this reminder, oh, I'm with this person.
Mm-hmm.
But that there's that little turn there of going from judgment when you feel you're disconnected to going to curiosity. Oh, what is it that that makes me disconnected? Or
Yeah.
the mystery of connection. I mean, it's an amazing mystery that we are so deeply connected. We are this interaction. And I think just the complexity of that some often makes us want to simplify it.
It's reminding me of the what Jenny said, reminded me of the song John Prine sang, "Hello in There."
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
It's a wonderful song of, looking into those ancient eyes. Yeah.
Yes. Put that in the chat and we'll look for it.
It's Mary again. For me, I'm sensing a reverence for the other person's experience, for their lives. There's something about the reverence about life as it flows through each of us. And yeah, judgment isn't part of that somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we go from judgment to reverence. Yes. And especially in looking at our own face, just take a moment to look at your face. And instead of evaluating it, which is what we tend to do, to look at our own face with this reference of how did I get to be me? Here I was born with this meanness that was gathered from thousands of years and manifest in some way of a mother and father having sex and produced this me. And I'm the same me I was when I was born in some ways, and in other ways so different, and there's so many versions. See what happens if you look at your own face that way, with that reverence. I mean, it's unbelievable that we're us. it's
This is an-
tolerating the unbelievableness.
Oh, yes. There we are.
Yes, I see. I see as people are looking, as you're looking at your own faces, I see the recognition.
Hello in there.
Yeah, hello in there. Levinas, who is a philosopher, a little before Jean Genlin, talks about the face of the other making a claim on us. And that claim that the face of the other makes is our humanness, makes us us.
Mhm.
We have a claim. Our own face makes a claim on us. We need to be responsive to and cultivate and care about, nurture. So, any comments about how it is to look at your own face? Was that similar or different?
Lynn, can I say something before we
Oh,
go?
absolutely. You don't have to ask. We're waiting for you
You know,
to.
I'm really intrigued by that word other and what it really means for us. Because probably for you, I am the other, but for me, you are the other. So we are all others for everyone.
Mhm.
So when we say we meet the other, what are we talking about?
Mm.
You know, with all the faces in the video, where did I feel that I met those faces, if not inside my own felt sense?
Mm.
So
Right.
do I really meet the others, or do I really connect with how I feel and make myself experience what is called the other, which I believe is outside? You know, if I look at it, ultimately, what the great teachers tell us is that there is me and there is my true self. So probably me is another to my true self. So I'm another to myself.
Exactly.
So when we want to meet the other, maybe the idea is to meet who we have created and believed who we are. And I believe that maybe all the turmoil that we have in the world, and that's just a hunch, maybe not the truth, it comes from the fact that there is the true self and there is the me that I've created from my reactions to what I believe was the other, my parents, whatever situation. And because I have left in my life a life of being the true self, I'm angry at myself and I project that anger on everybody else. And the turmoil doesn't come from outside anyone. It comes from not being who we really are. And we're angry about that, of not taking the time to become or to realize or to come back to what we truly are. You know,
Yes.
it's all about the invention of me, in fact. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know how true that is, but
Yes.
you know,
The invention of me. The thing that's so unfathomable is that there isn't even this real differentiation between what's inside and what's outside,
exactly.
you know, because we are this interaction. And there isn't a clear division between the true self and the false self either, where so many of those things, sort of like a stream of so much that we can't fathom it. Yes. I think that we so much want there to be something that's objective. And when we're threatened, of course, we want to be right. And we want it to be objective reality, that it's, for my mother, better to be thin than to be obese or something, right? That our way is right in some way. And in Gene's philosophy, I love how he puts it, that there isn't anything that's really objective, because objective would mean we're standing outside the universe looking at it, and that's what it is. And of course, we're in it and we're interacting with it, and the observer is the observed. And Gene also says there's nothing that's subjective, because it's not just in me. When it's in me, it's in the air, it's in the other. We're making an impact always. So thank you for bringing us to that philosophical level, Machiel.
Thank you to you.
To me, Lynn, you use the word recognition at one moment, and my sense was recognition and non-recognition about myself, and it has to do with what you were just saying, Michael and Lynn. It's about the who am I being? It's not something start. Do I know who am I being? And this is same as what Elisa said, and I was feeling the same, so many lives, so many stories, so many mysteries, so many struggles and joys, and same about us, and about the mystery of ourselves within ourselves, and with others, and the shared, I was going to say humanness, but I would say beingness, because I like to include animals and beings, the shared beingness, and at the same time the subtle individuality. So the shared and the individual, and this comes up all the time. But what came up mostly for me was the mystery about my own beingness.
Yes. Yes. We're all so much more alike than different, and we're all infinitely different as well. Okay, I'd like you to play with me one more step, and then we'll have some comments about that, and then we'll go into it further in our breakout rooms. So if you'll take a few breaths and maybe close your eyes if you want to, and feel how gravity is holding us, and let go into that vast universe that we're part of. Just relax into that mysterious gravitational pull, that mysterious interbeing that we are, that mysterious universe. And now think of someone that you love, that you're close to. Someone that you feel you know. take a minute with that knowing. You know the expression on the person's face. You know how they move their hands. You know where they get stuck in their lives. Picture their face. And then move into what you don't know. The vast realms of this person's incarnation, this person's being, that you can't even fathom, that maybe they don't know. That whole realm of the implicit in them. See what it's like to be with the not knowing. And the curiosity to let that person that you know so well, your friend, your parent, your child, your partner, your neighbor, let yourself be surprised by even imagining what you don't know. And now I want you to think of someone that you don't like, someone that you're threatened by. It can be someone in your personal life, someone in your social, political life. And feel that felt sense of the not liking, because that's so complex. How don't you like them? What does that feel like? But allow it. And then see if you can widen that and be surprised by the mystery that this person is. Not only the mystery of why you don't like them, which is also a big mystery, but the mystery of who they really are, meaning all the dimensions that you don't know, the struggles, the way they were as a young child, their aspirations, and what inspires them. The life force in them, which is the base of the mystery. Let's see if your curiosity could open just a little bit there. Your willingness to be surprised. And when you're ready, come back to our group. Good to see you all back. It's like in an attunement. It's like you're in a dream and then you wake up and come back and what was that dream like? So let's welcome some comments, and then we're going to get ready for our breakout rooms.
May I share something?
Yes.
Oh, my tears came. Just so touching. It's my dream, just like when I remember someone, my nephew. I'm so curious to her because anytime she talked to me, I don't know what she would talk. It always surprised me. I'm so curious and I'm looking at her face. I'm so touching that, oh, it's the girl. It's just so amazing. So, it's so amazing. I don't know how to describe because I think it's not a smart guy. It's just like you said, the mystery. We don't know the person. It's just so when you connect with her more and more, that you can find more and more. So surprised me. So I'm so touching. So my tears came. Yeah.
Yes, you can get more and more.
Mm.
Yes, anybody else?
Well, Lynn, I wasn't very able to do the exercise, but very well. But what came is that a part of me was feeling like, well, nobody knows anything about me, and hence, I ought to write my life story. Blah blah blah. I've said that many times. So it was just, I could recognize that nobody knows anything about me. That was very tangible. But the other one was less tangible when I was practicing that. But this one's definite, very clear. No one knows anything about me. Yeah.
And you want us to know you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yes. Isn't that's that life force, right? That wants to connect. And the way to connect first, maybe I'm making this up, but what I got was the first step is to let people know you, to write your story. But even in speaking in this group, we're getting glimpses of you.
Yes.
You're letting us know you.
Yeah, well, that's really why I'm here. At the moment, that's current. Current. Yeah, thank you.
So if I may share this, and this is very, very personal because it touched me so much. Today is my youngest son's birthday, and he lives in Australia, very, very far away from me. And I tears came to my eyes also because thinking of him and how much I love him and how much I know him and how much of him I don't know. And this mystery of, again, the same thing I was sharing before, who is he being? And something came as I'm usually good with my sons living far from me, but today it's like I'm feeling it in a kind of different kind of different quality, because I was sensing, oh, how much I'm missing of who he is being in his everyday life, and such a mystery also, so much that I know and so much that I don't, and missing him also.
Yes, yes, yes. That poignance of the missing and the love and the mystery.
Are we going to have breakouts today, Lynn?
Yes, we are. And we're going to have them in 2 minutes at 10 after. So if you
I could say something really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I did in both partners, I had this image of the night sky, right, filled with starlight. And I used Donald Trump for the person I hate. And I thought of Michael's words, because I also saw the night sky. And then I kind of remembered everything I've read about Donald Trump's upbringing and the way his, the authoritarian family system that he grew up in and everything else. And it's like I could almost feel Donald Trump's original nature and exactly what Michael was spelling out so well, this degree of fucking, hatred and fury that he just sprays out. But I felt what was underneath that in the night sky. So
Yes.
surprise.
Yeah, I love that image
Thank you,
of the
Michael.
night sky and the mystery there. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Stuart, because I also took Donald Trump. And I was not able to go to the night sky at all. And I tried to think about him as a child, and so I could feel the thickness of my not wanting and being really angry about what he spreads. And yeah, I feel that really strongly, even almost more than before the exercise. So yeah, was that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting that you could feel it more. Because maybe you're more in your feelings. But then I'm hoping that you could be curious about the one in there not wanting to be curious, right?
Yes.
Right? We can be curious about our lack of curiosity, like to not be able to make that little switch from threat and hate to curiosity.
Yes, and as you say that, it's like that part that doesn't want to get him off the hook. He's getting too much off the hook. I don't want to do that.
That is such an interesting, I love that. I love that, because this need to have the other on the hook, it's such a wonderful visual, it's such a wonderful image, because the hook is this thing, it's right there, and the person, we take all this complexity and we put it on this hook. And there it is. It's not threatening us anymore because it's on this hook. So we're reluctant to let the person off the hook. I love that. That's so, I want to really meditate on that, what it means to have the other on the hook.
Off the hook already all the time.
What's that, Cassell?
She was saying he already gets off the hook all the time. She said that, there's sort of there's a complexity in terms of naivete also.
Okay, so I have to mention I got I was going to do Donald Trump, but it's like, oh no, everyone's going to do that. So I did Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then, you know, when Lynn suggested, sort of looking and checking out what's going on, I could not find any difference between her and myself. I was like, this is just another angry white woman, just like me, you know, going out there, rah, 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 this is what I believe. And I feel exactly the same way. So there, I couldn't find any real difference. You know, here's a woman sort of out of control, talks out of turn, you know, that kind of stuff. I recognize all that behavior in myself. So it's just different ideals.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, and then it might be another step to be curious about, you know, what does the out of turn, angry, you know, what is the mystery of that? What is, you know, it basically what we're doing is focusing, right, on the feelings of liking or not liking. I think I didn't quite get what you said, Cassell, about the naivete being complex. I like that idea that our naivete is very complex.
No, I guess I just you know, there's a whole Buddhist practice of exchanging self for other. And people always pick Donald Trump because he's who he is and has decided to, you know, represent what he represents. And so people are always trying to, oh, I don't know. I sometimes feel like it's like, oh, I could find the good in him, you know, I'm a great person. And that there's just something, it's so scary to me because I'm so scared that he's gonna do so much more harm to this country. And so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like it's a tricky territory.
Yes, well, that's why we're trying to bring focusing to it because it's such a tricky territory. But I think that there's a lot in that. There's the feeling that if you have the person on the hook, that they'll be less dangerous. There's also another thing that I want to say is that it's not about being curious and being surprised isn't about saying it's okay. It isn't about giving the person a little pat on the you know, on the back, saying, oh, it's okay. It's not about right and wrong at all. It's about looking at the broader that doesn't have to do with deciding something is right or deciding something is wrong, which doesn't mean that we don't get to say what's right and what's wrong for us. But it's about, as a meditation, getting beyond that binary, that simplification. But knowing that the simplification is what makes us feel safer. So I don't know if that speaks to what you were talking about, Cassell, where I went with it.
Almost it did. But you know, it's sort of, I mean, there is a point where you say, you know, that harm and evil have to be stopped when it's, you know, trampling people down.
Yes. Yes, this,
It's going to be curious about it.
yes, this has nothing to do with stopping someone. And including in our personal lives, if somebody is harming you, you want to stop them from harming you or from harming somebody else. Doesn't have anything to do with that. You can see more clearly in this broader view what you're up against, to be curious and open to all of it. But that goes into the next territory that maybe we'll do another help the helpers on that territory. Okay, let's go into our breakout rooms. We'll have 3 in a room, and we will come back at 9:35.
Lynn and everyone, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave now. But
Okay, it was
very
very,
welcome.
very good to have you here, Lucy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you
Anybody
have
else that has?
instructions for the breakout rooms?
Yes, just to continue talking about the mystery of the other in terms of the stranger, in terms of the one you love, or the one that you don't like, just wherever this brings you. Hi, welcome back.
We were never gone.
Yes. So, how was your breakout room?
Too short.
Mesmerizing.
Short, yes, yes. Yeah, you really needed more time.
Do we though?
Need more time. I don't.
Which is a concept, it's not real. So
It's true. It's
what are
true.
we really talking about? You know, what did we really need?
Yes, yes. And time is so different when you're focusing or speaking in that place. It's very, very different.
Could say a few words. We had a lovely breakout, which felt like plenty of time. And I think there was this shared sense that when we feel met, when we feel like together, like an us, as we were able to find in our triad, right? Something in the sense of like the defensive aspects of self kind of relax. And then we feel one another and we feel like within ourselves, including like the residue of the structures that have been there to keep us safe and protected, that, you know, that are like the little growing edges. So, you know, it's like this paradox of practice, like as we're embodied, we feel more in relationship, but also the process of becoming embodied, you know, necessitates being in contact with where the limits to that are. And so to me, that's the practice, is we find compassion and humor with ourselves to go in and out of that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, thank you.
The reason it felt too short is because there was so much coming up for each person, and we were just on the edge of more.
Right.
We were just
Yes.
like,
yes.
oh, I want them more.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then it was boom, we're gone.
Oh, no. Just on the edge of that.
Yeah.
I felt a sense of some shame and disconnection. like I said something not wanted or wrong, and I felt like that, ooh, like that little othering, othering feeling, like
Yes. Yeah. That feeling is sort of at the heart of when the mystery turns it, sort of turns into this feeling pinned, feeling othered. I think feeling othered is like being reduced to something. But then if each of us can embody that that feeling of curiosity about the mystery, when we feel sort of collapsed into this simplicity, we can breathe into that and fill ourselves out again to that larger, more complex version, or many versions. I don't know if that made sense, but I wanted to respond to that feeling.
Lynn, when you were talking about earlier before we broke out, it reminded me of the poem, I'll Be on the Field of Right and Wrong, I'll Meet You There, the Rumi poem.
Yes.
It made me think a bit more about that it's not like we'll meet there and stay there. We might even just touch that and come back. And just even touching that can change the interaction coming back. So
absolutely, yes. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, even knowing that there is a field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even knowing that that's there and we can touch it makes a huge difference.
this is Miri here. Not reporting on what happened in the small group, but rather reporting on what's coming up for me now, which is the idea or the sense of, at some point, each one of us was an innocent newborn.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Not only was, but is.
Is. Oh, yes. Oh,
yes.
Yes. The innocent explanation for everything we do, think, say. Oh.
Yeah, all those parts of us, all those stories, all those experiences are living in us. We have time for maybe 2 more comments. And Dorothy is going to read us a poem.
If I may share, I was thinking about how the otherness takes our experience so much forward and moves it and changes it, whether we connect in a way that is like, I don't know, agreeing or not agreeing, but smoothly, or I was thinking about what you shared, Monica, even when we feel, or whatever we feel when we say something that feels like off or whatever, and that is also bringing up something different, and it's always about how the interaction moves us forward and brings up so many things in us, and how different interactions bring different things, and depending on how we experience those things, anyway, they are taking our experience forward.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
in so many different ways,
Yes, yes. I was thinking with what you said, Monica, about the experience of being othered and how that's at the heart, at the center of all of the terrible polarizations that we have in the world. It's almost like we'll do anything to avoid that feeling of being captured by this simplification. And we so want to be seen, we want to be understood, we want to then be able to see ourselves. And if we can't be seen, we want to be right. And if we can't be right, we want to be invulnerable and strong, right? And what this exercise is doing is taking this experience of being othered and then looking at the forward movement of the mystery of the other. So we have the same word, other, but there are two such completely different experiences of being collapsed into a hook, onto a hook, or being allowed to expand into all those places that we are, all those experiences that we are.
But
So-
I would also say I don't know what happened, Lynn. So without putting, you know, what I was othered, I don't know about that. I felt shame,
Yeah,
but that's all.
you felt you felt, of course, you felt this feeling, right? It was like you had a little taste of this feeling that is so horrible, all of us, and all of us are othered, you know, in various ways. And then you could really be curious about that experience. We don't know about the other people, if they were othering you or not. We don't know their full experience.
Or if I othered them.
Or if you othered them as otherers. Yes. If you put them on the hook as you otherers. Okay, are we ready for Dorothy's poem? I know this is sort of a tease, but maybe we'll do another helper's reflection on this subject. Go ahead, Dorothy.
Sure. Okay. This is, I feel like the name of this poem is Clarity. I feel like it's another word. It swims around the idea of mystery, like mystery, clarity. Like we want the clarity so much, but sometimes the mystery surrounds it and we don't have it. And it's another moving back and forth motion that we were talking about, the Rumi poem, Clarity. This poem is by Vavi Francis. She's an American poet who teaches at Dartmouth. Clarity. Sorrow, oh sorrow, moves like a loose flock of blackbirds sweeping over the metal roofs, over the birches and the miles. One wave after another, then the sudden opening, where the feathered swirl, illumined by dusk, parts to reveal the weeping heart of all things.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh. Okay, we'll see you next week, everybody.